Yes, Twitterati, that's right. Mama is so hot, I melted the roads in Yellowstone back in June, and now I've lit Yosemite on fire.
But couldn't you put it out with your frozen vagina?
You have superpowers now.
Yeah.
Yes, I did start the fire to thaw my frozen vagina, which, if you recall, before the break, I froze with BioFreeze by accident.
Yeah.
I had sore thighs. Listen, it's another story for another day.
Is this how we open the show?
The point is, I should
Welcome
not
back,
have
everyone.
gotten in the hotel elevator with Ray Rice. Listen, that's not funny. That's not funny.
You were no better than Fox and Friends.
He could have broken his hand on your frozen vagina.
Oh, for God's sakes. Good morning.
Yeah, welcome back.
Wow, people get bitchy on Twitter when Mama takes a vacation. Everybody settle. Cinderella, you were here the whole time.
I was here the whole time.
Chris didn't get a vacation. He's been here slaving over a hot board.
Well, you're giving me another week off. Then.
Yes, I am.
His vacation was not dealing with us.
You're taking You're taking a different week.
It's the first time I've asked you for that, and the first time you've granted.
Right. Oh, because you know what else we missed during the break? It was our 10-year anniversary. Hooray!
Yeah, Sunday.
Oh, well, it's yours today because you were 2 days late. You were always 2 days late and several dollars short.
Yeah, exactly. No, you had to move me here from Phoenix, and so.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the second time I called you and said, I got a job now. I need you now. And I gave him, took him 2 days. Did you have to pack up and move and quit your job? And
Yeah, I had to give them 2 weeks' notice.
this worked out. This is the longest job we've had.
This is the longest job I've ever had. Really, it is.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, 10 years, right? Oh, and by the way, Jim Ward will be here in hour number 3. Maximum Mookage today.
He
in
was
honor of the
screening
anniversary.
calls way back when.
Oh, that's right. Jim began the show.
He was doing my job.
The screener, because I had to sneak him in under the cover of night.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't. Oh, that's actually magically full circle. We couldn't afford a co-host, and we still can now.
It's just like the olden days.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, but so Maximum Mookage in hour number 3.
Yep.
What was I going to say? Oh,
The 10-year anniversary thing?
yeah. Okay, I'm getting to
All
that.
right, fine.
Anyway, but today we have a Monday and a Tuesday show mushed into one.
Yes, it's a mashup, as the kids call it.
Right.
It's more than you can handle.
Right. All right, and I will tell my Yosemite stories and my visiting my mom, my 91-year-old Republican mom stories. I mashed 2 vacations into one.
Yeah.
And then today's show, Eric Bowler,
Yep.
Monday guest, Jim Ward, Maximum Mookage, Monday guest,
Right.
and along with our regular Tuesday guest, Bob Seska and Charlie Pierce, all
Squished into one.
More men than you
Right.
can handle.
right.
Like a Play-Doh ball, you know, where you take 2 colors that really shouldn't be together and you just kind of
Exactly.
mash them together and
Exactly.
it turns out to be gray.
It's way too much show.
Yeah.
It's way too much show already, isn't
I'm
it?
sorry you asked for it.
All right. Tim, you know our good friend Tim.
Tim in Dallas.
Wait, I'll show he's given us all kinds of artwork that decorates the studio here over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Wildly talented Tim in Dallas. Steph, it was actually Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Our 10-year anniversary. Steph, I put together this brief retrospective to mark the show's 10th anniversary. It's just a smattering of memorable moments, as it's hard to condense 7,500 hours of show, 3,650 bottles of wine into 90 seconds. But best regards. All right, here it is. Oh, yeah. Senator Kerry, this couldn't possibly be you, could it?
Let me check.
Somebody claiming to be Melissa Etheridge is on the line.
It's really Melissa Etheridge. Finally got enough nerve up to call you.
You got the nerve up to call me? Hi, this is Stockholm.
One moment, please.
I'm not sure this was a wise idea. Why didn't anyone tell me about the sweat stains yesterday?
Oh, God.
Who is it, Chris?
Representative Jim Moran of Virginia.
Sean Hannity called you a bad name.
Sean Hannity is a complete asshole.
Whoa, whoa! We got that on tape.
Well, howdy do. The Chicago Tribune is confirming that it's Palin.
Wow.
He's 44 and under investigation. He has just shot himself in the foot.
This is a historically bad.
Oh, it's a tragically bad choice. How do you like the new theme song, everybody? I was the first mama for Obama. Don't ever doubt me again. The show is going by Coastal. Mama will be doing the show from New York. As you know, New York has rejected me like a bad kidney. I've reached my personal tipping point to say I'm a gay woman.
What the?
There, that wasn't so hard, was it? Oops, I totally didn't mean to do that. Did you catch that?
What is wrong with you?
I'm sleepy.
Wait.
We just had an earthquake. Me hanging on by my fingertips, barely surviving in my little basement studio.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, thanks, Tim.
And we posted that up on your Facebook page.
Why, it's true.
No, it automatically goes into a video of you and May and Xena Warrior Princess.
What?
Why haven't you not shut down the internet yet? Didn't I do that, put that on your to-do list, Travis?
Wow, and
Shut down the internet.
You're holding a sword.
Oh, that was when we were co-hosting on Pure Oxygen, and I had to dress as Xena to interview.
And you weren't out then?
For some reason. Do you know what I
That should have been the first sign. Xena. She's like an icon to you people.
She is.
Do you know how many things TV producers ask you to do? You're just like, really? Don't you think this is going to make me look silly on the internet in like 10 years? Really?
Did
you have to put on this outfit?
Didn't know it existed back then.
Okay.
Yeah, YouTube didn't exist
All right,
back
as
then.
long as I can keep my TV job. Oh, I can? Okay.
Did Xena appreciate the effort you put into it? I don't think so.
She looked at me the same way Pat Benatar did when someone showed her a tape of me singing I Need a Lover with my radio station band in Rochester.
The Lobster Band.
Right, the Lobster Band, WCMF Lobster Band. Yeah, someone helpfully showed that to Pat Benatar right in front of me.
This is all going to come back to haunt us.
Wow, and also that was historic in that you were right. You actually were on tape saying Sarah Palin was a historically bad choice the day after it happened.
Yep.
Chris being right?
No, that was
that
as it was happening. The news broke on our show.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know.
And that was when we were in Denver, or we weren't even in the studio.
And Jim was historically wrong, as he.
Yeah.
And can you remember he came in the day after the Sarah Palin speech, and he goes, "Oh, we're screwed now. We're gonna lose in a landslide. Gonna lose the house, Pooh." All right.
How could he think that anything she said was a good speech?
Because she was all quippy and winky, and everybody thought
That first speech was really good.
Sizzle to Grampy's campaign, huh?
The first speech was
That's because she didn't write it.
good.
No, I was on Larry King right after that, and I said, "She's a mean girl." Was I right?
Yes, you were.
But she fired people up for about 5 minutes, and then they realized what they were dealing with.
Whatever. Okay. All right. And we've been tortured with that voice now for how long? Thanks, Grampy. All right. So what else? I haven't slept. I'm at the Chardonnay Canaries are here early. Just getting the vacation rust off. Okay. Because you know why? You know how my vacation started?
No.
So my 91-year-old Republican mom in Charlotte fell while I was there.
No.
Okay. She's
Is she
fine.
okay? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yes, I wouldn't be continuing the story.
Well,
She's not okay.
Did you loan her your tip?
I felt like I had to ask.
Thank you. Thanks.
You know, courtesy.
Okay, my 91-year-old Republican mom does not fall like most 91-year-old. You know how she did it?
How?
She was outside showing my nephew how to swing a golf club and hit a wiffle golf ball. I had to, the entire, Mom, let's review. You were 91. What are you doing? I had to take, her knees were all ripped up. I was like playing nursemaid all.
I don't even think you should be doing something like that.
Exactly. You would think I would be out there drunk going, let's see if I can. Yeah. We turn our back on her for 1 minute, and she's out, and then she's in the driveway bleeding, and
oh
good
my God.
So I was icing and changing bandages and giving her foot rubs all weekend. And if you saw her feet, would know how much I love her.
That's 80 years of wearing high heels.
God.
Man.
Republican high heels.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the tall ones.
Troll doll meta. like the trees in the Wizard of Oz. They're just like, yeah.
A bunch of cheese curds stuck together.
Oh, they're just like, right? And left in the sun. And like baking in Yosemite. Just like, yeah. Anyway, she loves her foot rubs, my mom does.
Oh, good.
And it made her feel all better. And we had a lovely time. Oh. So then, I go to Yosemite. What could possibly go wrong? Later that same vacation, as I'm being evacuated from Half Dome. No, I wasn't. No. It actually happened I was there the day before. I hiked Half Dome the day before. Oh. Yeah.
I was at home in Fresno watching the news. I was going, oh, God, Stephanie's being evacuated. She's on the helicopter right now. I thought they were going to bring you and drop you off at Mama Bone's house.
You see me on the news in the helicopter with a box of wine.
Like a little sippy.
Can I take my box of wine? It's not that heavy.
Drinking it like a juice box.
Yosemite is beautiful.
It is. It's one of the two most gorgeous places on Earth.
What's the other one?
Sedona.
Oh, yes, also. You're right. You're right, Arizona boy. Very nice.
Lovely.
Yosemite's our backyard.
Right. Oh, speaking of which, Carl sent me a tweet reminding me of Who said the United States is having so many problems these days, you'd almost think it was built on top of thousands of Indian burial grounds. I don't know who said it, but it's
very funny.
Not if you're a Native American. It's not
true.
that funny.
That's true. Funny in a poltergeist kind of way.
Right. But everywhere I go, I went to like a museum there, you know, a Native American museum, and I just like, that's how every story ends. And then we found gold, and then we killed all the Indians and took their land.
Took over.
Yeah.
And the end. Yeah. So anyway, but
Cool.
Yeah, it's the same story everywhere I go. Yellowstone, wherever. And then we found something valuable, and then we killed all the Indians.
Yeah, we even took Oklahoma away from them, and what good is that?
Did you stay at the Awani Hotel?
I did.
That's a gorgeous hotel.
Oh, I will have pictures up. Well, whenever.
Yeah.
Today, tomorrow. I have to go through my.
Well, we have Rocky Mountain Mike's pictures up in your stead.
I know, because he is an unbelievable photographer.
Right.
I totally was going to take credit for those pictures, but he put his name in the middle of it. What is the point? That's what I do, is I take his work and present it as my own.
Yes.
He happens to be not just an amazing, song parody
Production guy, yeah.
He also is an unbelievable photographer. So he has, let's just say his pictures, he probably was sober when they're a little better than mine.
He watermarked the hell out of them.
Right, they're a little better than mine.
Yours are a little blurry.
All right, we'll get to mine. I have to go through my iPhone. You know how it is. It's a thing, and I have to ask you every time, how do I do it?
Right. You've learned to take pictures, though. That's a step in the right direction.
Right. That's true. That's true. Okay.
Small victories.
All right. So, and I have another vacation story when we come back from the. Yeah.
Okay.
When we come back from the break.
All right.
All right. And you were visiting Mama Bone in Fres, yes.
Yes.
Okay. She okay?
Yeah,
Did she fall?
She sang chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, thank you, Mama Bone. Okay, great.
Yes, we're all taken care of here.
I take it she was not demonstrating. I don't know what it is. It's a Republican mom thing. Here, let me show you how to play golf. Mom, no! Oh, for God's sake.
My mom
really?
plays softball. You two'd get along.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that was another stereotype he just lobbed my way.
You have played softball in your life, though.
Yes, I have. I was very good.
Of course you were.
Third baseman.
There's no way you could be bad.
Right? I have quite an arm.
Yeah.
Okay, 18 minutes after the hour. Right back. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Yes, live. Everybody calm down. Some people on Twitter, she's on vacation again. I'm quit. That's it. I'm done. Well, fine. Fine.
They quit this bitch.
Okay, so we have a Monday and a Tuesday show all mashed into one. Jim Ward in hour number 3.
Yep.
Got Charlie Pierce.
Yep.
We got Eric Bollert coming up. We have, hang on, where was I?
Bob Seska.
Bob Seska, hour number 3. Okay, there you go.
Your boyfriend. All of them are kind of your boyfriends.
All right, so 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. I was talking about my 91-year-old Republican mom in Charlotte who fell when I was there last weekend. She's fine.
Good.
Everybody, thank you for your concern. Eric Hankey, actually, he's correct. It could have been worse. She actually fell while showing my nephew how to hit a wiffle golf ball.
Oh, that's cute.
She felt at 91 it would be fine to swing a golf club right near a cement driveway. So she's fine. She didn't break anything. She said, okay. Here's how irritating my mom is, by the way. First of all, you've seen her.
Yeah.
She looks, I don't know, like 20 years younger.
She does.
And so I was chatting with her while I was there. I said, hey, Mom, I have to, I'm 52.
You are.
So I had to do, I have to do semi-permanent rinse on my hair.
You had your henna rinse to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, when did you have to start? Because it's not permanent color yet. I'm not that old. But it's a semi-permanent rinse. I said, when did you start? And she said, oh, dear, well, let me think. When I stopped playing tennis at 85, I still hadn't been dyeing my hair. Yatch!
Wow.
Right? That's how amazing my mom is. All right. And then I had to be evacuated from Half Dome.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But I did. It was the day after. It was the day before. I hiked Half Dome, and then it was the day after the fires.
Yeah. Did you see the fires from where you were?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I saw some of them.
All right.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes, I said.
Oh, thank you.
And the Awani Lodge is gorgeous.
Yes, it is. All right, I'll have my pictures up tomorrow. Right now I would be representing Rocky Mountain Mike's as mine if he had not
Watermarked them.
put his name on them.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But his pictures are gorgeous.
Yeah, he's an amazing photographer. So anyway, check those out. In the meantime, just to hold you until Mama gets hers up. Okay. By the way, is this summer of craptastic news over with yet or what? I'm on vacation and it's like it's like a Flintstones background of the same crap news.
Yeah.
Another beloved comedian dies.
Oh.
Another journalist beheaded.
Yeah.
Putin does something else, more World War III than he did last week. Yes.
On Friday, we were able to play our Joan Rivers, our last interview with Joan Rivers, and it was very moving.
I know. I was depressed just like the Robin Williams, except that I knew her. Oh, and somebody said that Eve replayed the she and I shoving each other and shouting at each other on the red carpet.
That's awesome.
Anyway, and it was...
did you see Howard Stern's first words in his eulogy?
What?
Joan Rivers had a dry sea.
I heard everybody kept looking at the rabbi going, is that okay, Rabbi? I'm really sorry. Can we talk like this in here?
Oh, I guess before that they had like the gay men's choir singing Amazing Grace or something like that. And then he opened up with that, and it just broke everybody up, and everybody was good with it. So
they're investigating. It'd be interesting to see, because I had I had an endoscopy in an out clinic like that, and I'll never forget. I looked at the anesthesiologist right before I went under, and I said, "Please don't kill me."
Yeah.
And he actually laughed.
Anytime you go under the knife, there is a risk of something happening.
Well, she was, that's the thing, she was of a certain age, but she also was in good health, so the whole thing, I think, is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Anyway, but and a legend, absolute legend. I remember seeing her when I was a little tiny baby comedian in Las Vegas. It was,
you mentioned that to her in the interview.
Yeah, I know. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. 1-800-STEPH12, the phone number. Lots to get to. By the way, I didn't tell another vacation story.
Oh, okay.
I joined the SLA on vacation, the Squirrel Liberation Organization.
I'm like, did you become Betty Hearst?
There was no hostage taking.
Okay, good.
But I went with my best friend Wanda from 30 years, from USC.
Yep.
Anyway, so we were at a farm. It was up near Yosemite.
Okay.
It was a biking, hiking trip.
Sure.
Okay, so we were at a farm, and the farmer was giving a little tour. I don't know. Don't ask me. Something. It was a chicken farm. Something. I'm not much of a tour person.
You would not have the patience for that.
Can we just start hiking or biking? I don't really. What? Okay.
You need to be going fast.
No, like Wanda said that, like a shark. I need to keep moving.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't really with the talking. I don't care where the leaves are from or what. I don't care. But anyway, so it was a chicken farm, and there was a squirrel trap. So he's talking, and this squirrel gets trapped, and I guess they trap them because they eat the chicken food.
Okay.
Anyway, but the squirrel was like, I'm like biting through the metal and screaming, and I'm like, he's
it was a no-kill trap, right? I mean, it was a...
Right.
Okay.
But we didn't know that exactly. And so Wanda and I, both big animal lovers, we were both like trying not to notice that the squirrel was like behind him. I'm like, I can't really focus on what you're saying. And so Wanda's like, we're afraid of the squirrel. We're afraid. And I was like, oh my God, my Catholic schoolgirl thing kicked in. I was like, oh my God, we're going to get in trouble. So the tour moved on. And sure enough, Wanda and I freed the squirrel. We got this thing open, and we were like, go.
You are not going to be welcome back.
Yeah, and the farmer was not.
No.
He's like, what the heck? We had a jailbreak here. And as it turns out, they just used to let him out by the river anyway. So
behind the barn.
Yeah, they don't kill them. So it was all for nothing, but that's L.A. All right. 29 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Stephanie Miller.
You sure you won't have one more?
Thanks, but I'm a bit tipsy as it is. It's bad enough I peed in your shower. Bye!
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Yes, I forgot to say what Eric tweeted. It would have been worse had my mom fallen doing naked handstands outside.
Yeah.
That was in her prime. She no longer does naked headstands. It was about circulation or something.
Whatever.
I don't remember why she did it, but it was...
Something about biorhythms.
It's seared into all of our minds now. All right, 1-800-STEPH12, the phone number. Bill in Albany, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Bill. Hello, Bill.
Bill?
Hello, Bill. I can hear you breathing.
No.
Bill, there you are.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Okay, try again. He had something to say about my mom. All right. Who is fine if you've just tuned in. Oh, okay, and this just added to our Monday, Tuesday show mashup today.
Yes.
Lisa Bloom.
Yep.
In hour number 2. Why?
Attorney Lisa Bloom.
That's right. Because what happens? I see her on the TV saying smart lawyery things about the Ray Rice thing, and I'm like, get me Lisa Bloom!
No, you drunkenly texted both Travis and me after we had gone to bed.
Well.
Let's have Lisa Bloom for rice. That's what you said.
What did I say?
Let's have Lisa Bloom for rice. And I'm like...
For dinner? For rice? Have her over for rice?
You said, let's have Lisa Bloom for rice. And I'm like,
I was on Yosemite time. I barely survived the fire. Leave me alone.
Like Susan Rice, Condoleezza Rice. Oh, Ray Rice. Okay,
right.
yeah.
Well, what's in the news? Well, are you producers or are you not? You know what I meant. Rice-a-roni?
What?
Okay.
It just took a second of deciphering. That's all it took.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, so because I was stuck in San Francisco airport forever because it's a long story. It was delays, whatever.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
Right. Okay.
That's why I drive, because the flights are always delayed.
I could have walked at the time.
The flights are always delayed between here and San Francisco.
Fabulous. Okay. So anyway, so I watched the video because at first I was like, oh, I don't want to watch that. Well, you know this, but I'll be very careful. But I've had personal experience with domestic violence, but I'm not going to talk about details or any of that. But I was a victim of it, and so this was very sort of. I had a hard time wanting to watch it, and when you watch it, it's as horrifying as you would think it is. I mean, and he's lucky he didn't kill her.
Yeah.
I mean,
she was out for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
she wasn't just
huge
stunned.
Professional athlete that just. I mean, it's hard to. But I mean, and I think a lot of women, that I was, talking to about it, felt the same way. As horrific as the punching actually was, almost the aftermath was just as bad.
Dragging her out.
This is someone he supposedly loves, and he doesn't even check to go, oh, by the way, I wonder if I killed you just now.
Right.
He drags her out like a sack of potatoes, doesn't pull her dress down, leaves her there. He's like nudging her with his foot. I mean, just that whole thing was. I mean, can you imagine? Even if you want to say, oh, it was obviously a moment of anger and blah blah blah. Like you wouldn't go, oh, someone I love, I might have just killed them. I mean, it's
you do not punch a woman.
Well, and that's what I mean. The fact that she's like, I love that she apologized for her role in the incident. I don't care what she was saying to him. I don't care if she was saying, you have the tiniest wiener I've ever seen. I don't care what she was saying. I mean, it's just that was. I mean, it's just that's like the typical thing that happens. Is that the woman drops the charges, refuses to. That's what happened with him, and so it makes me.
And she married him.
Yeah, and then married him, and anyway. But I mean, the whole thing, like we were talking about the way the NFL handled it, it's just horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not till this and by the way, Eric Bowler will be on at 7. He's been writing some great stuff about it, but he's like, how come the guys at TMZ is handing the guys at ESPN their lunch on this story?
Absolutely.
Because it's not till after the. I mean,
ESPN has an NFL contract. They show NFL games.
Yeah.
They don't want damage to the NFL brand. I mean, ESPN doesn't want damage to the NFL brand because they show the games, and so I feel that's why they held back on this. Well, and that's irresponsible.
Right. And I guess they're saying they didn't see this original. The other thing is, you go, how many times has this happened where this happened to get caught on tape? You have to see the actual punch, like you were saying. I guess they at least saw the video of him dragging her out of the elevator. Like, what do they think happened? She punched herself?
Yeah, there was another video of a camera outside the elevator where you saw him dragging her out, and the elevator doors closing on her feet, and
Right. And he's more concerned about her shoe, getting her shoe, than like, I wonder if. I mean, can you imagine just not even checking to see if? Wouldn't you first try to revive somebody or try to? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after I love this is the way that every story reads. After a deafening public uproar, the Baltimore Ravens announced yesterday that running back Ray Rice's contract with the team had been terminated. But I mean,
they only did it after it became bad for business.
Right. Think about how many times this happens, and really you have to have this caught on tape to actually. The Ravens made the announcement on Twitter hours after the release of the surveillance footage showing Rice punching his then fiance. And I mean, Again, I think it boggles the mind, although this happens so much, I guess, that she went ahead and married him. But you think of, I looked at that press conference, I'm like, that's another form of abuse. Like he's like making her, he goes, oh, I don't want to be the only one. My wife wants to say something. It's like, oh, I'm sorry for my role, for getting my face in the way of your
fist?
Yeah. Rice was indicted in March, but the third-degree aggravated assault charge will be dropped in a year if he completes a pretrial diversion program. He was suspended, as we know, only by two games by the NFL. A punishment at the time, even before this came out, people were criticizing for being too light. The league acknowledged last month it mishandled the situation, announced a tougher new policy for domestic violence and sexual assaults. But you know, I mean, it's horrible. But you go, maybe this brings this to light in a way that it hasn't been before. But you know, it really is. It just is horrifying to me, and the fact that I think, like you say, that this reaction, it's only been because of this huge public outcry.
Yeah.
That and I guess the Roger Goodell is the commissioner, admitted that he mishandled it. I'm friends with his brother, by the way. I'm going to give him a call later.
Oh yeah, I met him. That's right.
See what he thinks about this. I mean, again, it's all part of this circular problem, though. I think in domestic violence is, you know, at the time he said we were following what the police were doing, and the police are doing that most times because, in this case, like in most, the woman declines to press charges, and so that's why that's why he got even legally the light sentence that he did, and so.
Their question, you know, they asked for all of the materials from the Atlantic City Police Department, and you know, there are questions as to whether they tried hard enough to get the video from the elevator.
Right. They said, the NFL said the police did not supply that video. Okay. And, of course, if you watch Fox News, not only is it really funny, apparently, Fox host jokes about Ray Rice's video. The message is take the stairs. See, that's the message of this whole. Eric Bollard, as you might imagine, writes about that, and we'll talk to him about that in a little bit. Steve Ducey? Yeah. Oh, you have this one. Yeah, Steve Ducey on Fox and Friends. Here he is.
We should also point out, after that video, and now you know what happened in there, she still married him. They're currently married.
I mean, look, Rihanna went back to Chris Brown. Yeah, Chris Brown right after. A lot of people thought that was a terrible message.
And then there's Jay-Z and Beyonce and Solange. That was also in an elevator.
But he knows JV didn't hit back.
There was some craziness.
I think the message is take the stairs.
The message is when you're in an elevator, there's a camera.
Yeah.
No, that's
nice
actually
giggle.
not the message.
Yeah, nice giggle.
Yeah, that's not the message, actually. The message is don't hit people. That's the message.
Yeah, don't hit chicks. At all, ever.
Right. This may not also be a surprise to you, but if you also, if you watch Fox News, it is Obama's fault.
What?
As you can imagine.
What?
Fox hosts on alleged Ray Rice video. Why won't Obama lead?
Oh, my God.
That's it.
Yes. It is clearly President Obama's fault that Ray Rice hit his fiancée because, they're both black guys. And why can't President Obama? Okay. Oh, here she is. Andrea Tantaros.
Yes.
This is a White House that seems to bring up a war on women every other week. A White House that's very concerned about the NFL, concussions, etc., prescription drugs in locker rooms. I want to know where the president is on this one. And specifically, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who likes to, talk about make-believe beatings when it comes to Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. Now we have a real beating. This is a legitimate beating of a woman in an elevator. Debbie Wasserman Schultz should come out and condemn this, and if she doesn't, she's an apologist for domestic violence.
Right. Clearly, I think that's what this proves is Debbie Wasserman Schultz and President Obama are for hitting women. What, did she actually say where is the president on this?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me think. Oh, I'm going to come out and say I think he's probably against men hitting women. But I guess because he didn't say so, we don't know for sure if he's against men hitting women.
Josh Earnest, press secretary, did address it yesterday.
This administration and this president do believe strongly that the scourge of violence against women is something that needs to be aggressively combated. I don't want to comment on the individual decisions that are made by, in this case, an individual NFL team. But you have seen the president and the vice president make very forceful public comments in talking about how important it is for men in particular to step up and step forward and make clear that violence against women is something that is not and cannot be tolerated.
Oh, okay, so he is against men. Okay. Well, there he is leading from behind again because he didn't say it soon enough.
Yeah, Andrea. right-wing.
You really think it's a joke? It's like literally they will blame everything on President Obama.
Andrea,
so this also President Obama's.
She's a right-wing velociraptor.
Yes, she is. All right, let's do a quick one before the break. Lori and Madison, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Lori.
Good morning.
Good
I wanted
morning.
to comment on the video. On Lawrence O'Donnell last night, they showed the longer clip of the video from the elevator. And while she was still face down, there are like 4 or 5, what I presume were men.
Yeah.
People arrive on the scene just
kind of standing there.
Looking at her.
Yeah, that was disturbing.
Until a woman comes on the scene that actually somebody touches her and comforts her to see if she's okay.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to mention that, Lori. I'm glad you brought it up. I know. I mean, that's what I think I was just so struck by that he didn't do anything or check on her.
Right.
But, you're absolutely right. I mean, so you assume that the elevator doors open, Lori, and he's already telling his story, right? How somehow this must be her fault or right, blah, blah. You don't even know what he's saying. Right. But it's more important to talk to these other guys than to go, oh, by the way, this is my fiance who's clearly out cold, right?
Exactly. And can I just comment on people asking where the president is on this?
Right.
What I want to know, I think I know where the president is on this because he has supported the Violence Against Women Act for years.
Yeah.
Where are the Republicans who wouldn't pass it for months and months and months? I want to know where they're at with this.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lori. All right, 46 minutes after the hour, we roll along. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Eric Bollard from Media Matters coming up at the top of the hour. Lisa Bloom, attorney extraordinaire, to talk about the Ray Rice NFL situation.
Yes.
We have voice DJ Jim Ward. We have Charlie Pierce. We have Bob Seska. It's a big mashup.
Yes.
All right, 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Let's go to Derek in Denver. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Derek.
Hello.
Hi.
I love you guys both.
I love you
very much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I am a longtime NFL lover, or maybe an ex-NFL junkie, if you will.
Right.
I just can't bring myself to watch it anymore. Whether it be the violence, the injuries, the billionaire owners, ESPN. I mean, it's just, they're just looking out for themselves, and they're not really looking out for their fans.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, we're supporting it if we're watching it. So I just can't bring myself to enjoy it like I used to.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think you're referring to the concussion stuff. I mean, yeah, it's all goes back to the same thing. It's all big money, right? I mean,
Exactly.
That's why they, looking at. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's ESPN's just looking out for the owners, and that's the biggest thing. And like Chris said before, the brand cannot be damaged, and that's really sad, and it's also really scary. What they're willing to do to protect their game.
Yeah.
So So anyway.
Yeah, no, and exactly, and this Ray Rice thing is part of the same thing. It's because he's a star and it's big money, and so in that sense, I'm glad that this has come to the light the way it has.
And from what I understand, before all of this, he was kind of well liked.
Yes. By the way, so before I went on vacation, as you know, we were in the midst of Beige Ghazi.
Yes.
Because I thought Fox News, literally, you think it's a joke, but it is not, that they blamed President Obama for the Ray Rice thing, clearly leading from behind on the whole men hitting women thing.
Yeah.
Because as you know, he controls all black men everywhere.
He does.
As you know, yeah. So, Beige Ghazi, because he wore the beige suit, and then as you recall on Fox News, he doesn't take the presidency seriously, it's disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. And with the interwebs, it took about, 3 seconds for magically to appear a picture of President Reagan in a tan suit, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton, all in beige suits, who also apparently did not respect the presidency. It's just different, because in case you haven't noticed, he's black, and it's too much the same color. He's tan.
In case you haven't noticed, he's black.
Tan is closer to the color of Ronald Reagan than...
Right. Right. So maybe Fox News didn't have time to get to this. Did you see this on the interwebs?
What is it?
Nonpartisan CBO announces President Obama has cut the Bush deficit by 70%. From the 9.8% of GDP deficit he inherited in 2009 to just 3.1% in 2014. Has Fox News been covering the Forbes report that shows how spectacular President Obama's record is, particularly as compared to Reagan? Forbes, not a liberal publication, by the way, for those of all y'all keeping track. I'll get to the. I have some fun. I have the fun facts.
Oh, do you need some fun facts?
Yes,
music?
please. Thank you. Jeff sent it originally. Let's see. Jeff. Hey, Steph. By now you've no doubt heard Forbes magazine has crunched the numbers and proven in every measurable way President Obama has outperformed President Reagan in handling the economy. Mm-hmm. Here are the fun facts. Obama inherited a far worse recession than the one Reagan did, and yet Obama ended that recession, turned the economy around in less than half the time it took Reagan. We've now had 63 straight months of economic expansion. That'll probably be all over Fox tonight, right?
Sure.
We're currently enjoying the longest period of private job sector creation performance in American history. President Obama's job creation kept unemployment from peaking as at a high level as President Reagan and promoted people into the workforce faster than Reagan. President Obama has achieved 6.1% unemployment rate his sixth year, fully 1 year faster than President Reagan did. At this point in his presidency, Reagan's still struggling with a 7.1% unemployment. Unemployment projected to fall to 5.4%, by the summer of 2015, a rate President Reagan was unable to achieve. The Dow Jones, blah, 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 all the standard, have all reached record highs under Obama. Economically, President Obama's administration has outperformed President Reagan's in all commonly watched categories. Obama, and just what I had just read, he significantly reduced the deficit by nearly 2/3, while Reagan tripled the deficit.
Yeah.
All y'all may not remember that. Federal employment, which increased greatly under Reagan, has been reduced under President Obama. In other words, Obama has shrunk the size of the federal government. Pause for a moment. The sound you hear is the sound of conservative heads all around the country exploding. Forbes has proven that Obama, the man Republicans call the worst president ever, has significantly outperformed their sainted Ronald Reagan on the economy in every measurable way. But don't worry, Fox News will ignore these objective facts, and most conservatives will never hear about the Forbes magazine report. Those conservatives who do will simply deny the facts about the economy, just as they do with climate change, evolution, and the number of days President Obama spends on vacation. Which, for those of you keeping track, is far less than George W. Bush just did, and Reagan did, and it's not important now.
Whatever.
It's not important now. Donald in Illinois, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Don.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
Yeah, I was listening to this stuff here. This really irritates me with Fox News now. All of a sudden blaming the president because of this football player that is not a man at all. Well, what really gets me, too, is the fact that all these attacks on this president, and where are the politicians on the left-hand side defending him? Where are the voters defending him? He gets attacks from the Hispanic community now because of the fact that, he couldn't get them the immigration reform, and he's waiting until after elections. Well, I'm getting sick and tired of all this crap. And as far as the Hispanics are concerned, if they think that the Republicans are going to do anything better for them, let them go in and see how well it works for them. I'm getting it's just aggravating.
Well, look, I think as the president said, obviously the politics have changed because once again, the right-wing noise machine, all this stuff about the kids at the border. I mean. Once again, they've used it, to fearmonger and divide. And if you thought things were politically impossible before, I mean, he's absolutely right. How would you ever get this done through Congress in a way that's going to be meaningful and lasting in this current climate, right?
Right. I just hope it doesn't affect 2014 because we need all the voters we can possibly get now. And it's just like his polls are so low, which is absolutely ridiculous. His polls should be 100% approval as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Eric Bollert from Media Matters next on the Stephanie Miller Show. Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Live. We're live. Back from vacation. Jim Ward, hour number 3. Bob Seska, hour number 3. Charlie Pierce. It's a Monday and Tuesday mashup. Very, very exciting. Yep. And by the way, I saw the Media Matters tweet yesterday. Fox's advice for women like Ray Rice's wife who don't want to be beaten by a man in an elevator, take the stairs.
Yeah.
We played that bite a little earlier. And so what did I say? Get me Eric Bollert. I can't survive this summer of craptastic news without my Eric Bollert. Eric Bollert from Media Matters for America, doing the Lord's work as usual.
Eric Bollert. Eric Bollert.
Let's dive into the right-wing world. I don't know what that means. Eric Bollert from Media Matters, whom we love. Good morning, Eric Bollert.
Hey, how are you?
I have missed you madly. And by the way, as you and I always think of it as a punchline, like, Fox News blames Obama for fill in the blank, but I don't know if you heard the Andrea Tantaro spite we played with her literally blaming the president for the Ray Rice.
Well, right. Why hasn't he commented already? Right. Why hasn't he jumped in?
Why hasn't he led?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, of course, if he had commented, she would have been on the show saying, what the hell is he commenting on? That's none of his, he can't do anything right.
Yeah. It's, and as it turns out, apparently the president is against men hitting women, which was quite a shock. Josh Ernst
had
to,
the White House, yes.
had to clear that up. But you were obviously tweeting about what everybody was talking about them making. You tweeted awful people.
Yeah.
Fox News mocks victims of Ray Rice elevator assault. Take the stairs. That's the message we should take, right?
Right. And then Brian Kilmeade this morning with his sort of non-apology apology. Oh, if anyone was offended, we didn't mean it. How can you watch that? 95% of people in America on the planet who saw that video were just sort of completely disgusted. I mean, who watches a fiance being knocked cold by a 240-pound running back who was bragging that he bench presses 500 pounds?
Yeah.
Right.
Who watches that kind of raw brutality and then jokes about it and then thinks it's funny and then says, "Oh, you should take the stairs if you don't want to be knocked unconscious and then dragged through the hallways of a casino in the morning." So, but that's the Fox worldview, and they caught a lot of flack for it, and so then they issue non-apology apology. But that's why I should trademark my Twitter phrase, awful people.
Yeah,
yes,
you
really
really should. Well, when you also tweeted, we were talking about your tweet earlier, Eric. By the way, anyone at ESPN want to explain why its entire news staff is getting their lunch handed them on the Ray Rice story by TMZ. But we just had a caller, Eric, and it's like, here you go again, money, right?
It is. Now, after I tweeted that, I did think I would take back like 10% of it because I know TMZ does pay for stuff.
Right.
And ESPN did completely unload on the NFL yesterday. Keith Olbermann had a sort of a classic Keith foaming at the mouth stem winder last night, which everyone should go watch. But my guess was, look, as someone tweeted to me, I mean, ESPN is basically a subsidiary of the NFL at this point. It's become very difficult for ESPN, I think. They do some great independent reporting and things like that. I think it certainly raises questions as they become just completely enmeshed in this billion-dollar bonanza that is the NFL, that is the MLB, and all of this. How closely do they want to look at these things? Again, after the video came out yesterday, I saw talking head after ESPN just unloading on the NFL. And to Olbermann's credit, he was going after Roger Goodell with that ridiculous 2-day suspension. But I hopefully ESPN will maybe take a close look and see if they really gave this story the coverage and skepticism as it deserved. It now looks. This is just a classic cover-up. I mean, the NFL said they didn't see the film. Well, what kind of investigation, what kind of general counsel do you have? I mean, this person went to law school, yes. He knows how to conduct any kind of an internal investigation. Oh, we asked for it, we didn't get it. Okay, never mind, bye.
Right. Well, I mean, and it's the classic, like we were saying, where the woman, declines to press charges.
Right.
I mean, I think it's all part of the problem. And then I don't know if you saw the latest this morning that Janae Rice has put out, on Instagram. She posted a message denouncing the media for costing Rice's football career and making her relive the assault just to gain ratings. Well,
right.
This is what we.
I don't think it's to gain ratings, and I know that was their argument to Roger Goodell over the summer. Please don't, ban my husband. That's his job, and I understand where she's coming from. But we've been talking. This country has been dealing with specifically, campus sexual assault.
And it's not a private matter, Eric. That's the important thing. It's a crime.
It's not. Nobody. It should have been a crime. And again, everyone should go watch Keith Olbermann from last night. He really unloads on those Atlantic City prosecutors as well. Mm-hmm. Look, this is what happens when, sports becomes, I'm not saying anything new or original, but my God, Roger Goodell, 2012, $44 million salary he got for seeing the NFL. Last year, I think it was $29 million. I mean, this is beyond.
Yeah.
And why? Because it's just,
Well, and I got to say, I feel for Janae as well. But I was saying to Chris earlier, Eric, that press conference, that's to me another form of abuse, that he's making her sit there and apologize for her role in the incident.
Right. The press conference looked awful. The Ravens look awful. The NFL looked awful. And TMZ is TMZ is the purveyor of justice for all. It's kind of amazing. But again, I do understand. I'm not saying they did. I know in the past they did pay for tapes,
right.
And so that does give them a certain advantage. But who would have thought, it would be, it would be TMZ shining an important light on what.
Yeah. Well, and she writes today. Eric, she writes this morning, Janae Rice writes, to make us relive a moment in our lives that we regret every day is a horrible thing. First of all, the we in that, to take something away from the man I love that he's worked his ass off for all his life just to gain ratings is horrific. What do you even say about that? It's just you try not to judge other people or why she did what she did and went on to marry him, but I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is just, it really is, I guess that's the thing, Eric. You hate to go, oh, well, the good thing in this, but I guess it does shine a light on something that's clearly a huge problem and isn't often caught on tape quite as clearly as this, right?
Yeah, and it's a problem. It's a problem in the sports industry that we've created. And again, we've been reading more and more about the problem on college campuses. A lot of these cases deal with, star athletes, how they're dealt with. I mean, the Heisman Trophy winner last year was involved in a case like this, and we read after he won the Heisman Trophy, the New York Times had an amazing investigation, basically saying neither the prosecutor or the university did any kind of, conducted any kind of investigation to see what the truth of that matter was. So it's part of a larger problem. And in terms of the victims, I mean, I certainly never want to be in a position of, judging a victim, saying this is what, particularly if it's a woman and I'm not a woman, I'm not going to speak for her, tell her this is how you should have reacted. But again, this is all part of a larger, problem in our society, and that's why people are, kind of rallying around it, and it's certainly not an effort to, stigmatize or make her relive it or anything like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. That's a whole other issue that I think has to do with, just empowering women and girls to not feel that they need to tolerate this, I guess. By the way, I loved your tweet because I was on vacation. I did not get to see the new Meet the Press.
Yeah.
But you said adding Rachel Maddow as a regular guest analyst to Meet the Press would make lots of sense, especially with Joe Scarborough being hired. That's a great idea.
Yeah, Joe Scarborough, they announced he was going to be, a political analyst. He's on last week. I think he's going to be sort of like on all the time. There was certainly some backroom reporting that he was upset he wasn't picked as the host.
Hey.
And I've pointed out that, it's one thing for me, it's one thing for the Meet the Press to say, hey, let's add Joe Scarborough. He's a former Republican. He's a conservative. We'll add his voice. But they're really not doing that. They're touting him as the brains of NBC politics. He's on the phone. He's working the phones. He knows everyone in D.C. He gets politics. And I pointed out he predicted a Romney landslide 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What planet did you have to live on to not understand Mitt Romney was not going to win a landslide? So they're going to tout him as this sort of, soothsayer who can see over the horizon and knows where American politics is going. But he thought Mitt Romney had a chance of winning a landslide when he actually lost one. That, to me raises doubts that, and again, so if they want someone to counterbalance Joe Scarborough, why not add Rachel Maddow? She would be perfect.
And then,
again, we've seen some reporting in the past. NBC is uncomfortable with Rachel Maddow. She's very rare. I wouldn't say rarely. She's not on very often.
Well, plus I was going to say then Joe Scarborough can go back to being condescending to her like he used to be before she got her show. Did you ever? We used to talk about that all the time. Yeah. He was always, remember they would pair them?
Oh, okay, right.
When, before she had her show, it was hilarious. He'd always be like, oh, Rachel, you don't know. You've never run for office.
Oh.
You blogger, you. And now her audience is probably 7 or 10 times the size.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. By the way, before you go, Eric, I loved your piece when Fox News didn't blame the GOP president for beheadings. Another shock, right? Under Bush, Bill O'Reilly denounced partisan garbage. Here's the first sign there's no liberal media. I don't even remember this story because you're right, we didn't politicize it.
Yeah. No, it's true. I had some vague recollections, so I started going to Google, and sure enough, there were two within a month in June of 2004. American citizens in
Nick
Saudi
Berg.
or one in Iraq, one in Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
Kidnapped, beheaded, videos released. And the media reaction, and granted we're in the middle of a war, there was a larger backdrop story. The media reaction at the time was kind of a shoulder shrug. George Bush came before the microphones, expressed his sympathies, his anger, and he got on a plane. He went to a Bush-Cheney campaign rally.
But it really was a different time. That's exactly right. Nobody politicized it. I mean, and meanwhile,
politicized it. Democrats certainly didn't, and there wasn't a pundit. The pundits for a week didn't freak out because he went to a campaign rally right after talking about beheading. Whereas, my God, we are literally still going over Obama's decision to play golf after his stern comments about James Foley's first beheading. So, there's a massive difference. There's a massive difference. The optics police, who are now, berating Obama. His press conference was all wrong. His suit was all wrong. He plays golf too much. These are the people that loved Mission Accomplished.
Yeah.
George Bush's optics in 2003, they were a master stroke of genius.
And I couldn't believe this quote you started your piece with, Fox analyst K.T. McFarland. The president stuck his head in the sand, and now we've seen 2 Americans have lost their heads. I mean, it just, as you say, it just goes on and on.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the tweet, ISIS has killed 2 Americans. Fox News blames Obama. Al-Qaeda killed 3,000 Americans. Fox never blamed George Bush.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's all the contrast you need right there.
And as I said last hour, Eric, it took about 3 seconds on the internet to find every president that we've in decades wearing a tan suit, right?
Yeah. I mean, the guy from Time magazine, the fashion writer, basically had to tell the political president, "Are you kidding me? Are you for real? You think it's a big deal a president wears a tan suit?" So we now have fashion writers lecturing political journalists, telling them to grow up and stop acting like a bunch of dopes.
Yeah, exactly. It is exhausting. Eric, thanks for coming on a Tuesday. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye. 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 Okay, 20 minutes after the hour.
It kills me every time.
All right.
10 years later.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Cool.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour. Jim Ward, hour number 3, Bob Seska. Oh, and Lisa Bloom coming up in about 15 minutes.
That's
very,
right.
Very exciting. All right, 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Sort of a love letter from Janet. Steph, so my son and his wife were here for the long weekend. He and I were hanging out in the living room. He was playing a game, and I thought I would put on a podcast, so he could enjoy some informative and witty conversation. Trademark Stephanie Miller Show.
All right.
After all, you haven't talked about having to tickle your butt to pee in a long time, because that's what you did every single stinking time we were going somewhere together in the mornings when he was in high school. Within moments, though, you were talking about your vajayjay, and I heard Audra's voice singing about your unfortunate mishap.
Mm-hmm.
I froze my vajayjay with biofreeze by accident. I looked up to see him raising an eyebrow at me, and I said, "I swear she only does it when you're listening." He said, "Pretty gross, Mom. Love you anyway, Janet." Sorry about that.
I'm surprised you couldn't put the...
People do that. They say, "Oh, no, you have to listen. It's really smart and informative," and then I'll do something. Sorry. And then I embarrass you, and I'm sorry.
Surprised you didn't put out the Yosemite fires with the freeze rays coming from your vagina.
I could have. I could have used my super JJ powers.
Yeah.
Kelly in L.A., you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Kel.
Hey, love the show. Just a little different perspective on Mr. Rice and his punching bag. Everybody's all up in arms about this particular incident of wife beating, and don't get me wrong, it's horrible. But the real perspective here is, this is the first time this guy has been held responsible for doing anything wrong off the field since Mommy and Daddy and all the other people at whatever institutions he was at discovered he could run fast with a ball.
Yeah.
That's part of this football culture. We've seen it in story after story, right, where, they get a free pass.
It's not just football. There's plenty of it in basketball, and there's more than a little bit of it in baseball. It's, oh, my God, I'm going to be able to make money off of my kid, or I'm going to be able to make money instead of going to college. They don't have to turn.
Well, and Kelly, let's be honest too about some of the women that put up with this. Do it,
And the weird part is because he has only one skill,
carry a ball fast through a bunch of other abusers. And now that he doesn't have that job, he's screwed, and anybody who ties their wagon to him is screwed too. And I feel sorry for her, but she was stupid enough to marry him after he did this to her.
Well, I don't know that I would call her stupid.
I don't want to judge. Because I do think it's part of a larger societal problem that we've been talking about, and it does start, I think, with empowering girls and women to not, believe that they don't have any other option than this.
I think that the correct approach here would be for the Ravens to simply pay her 1 year's salary and say, and now you don't have a reason to stay around with this bozo anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. Brian in North Carolina on the Ray Rice situation. Hello, Brian.
Hi, love. How are you?
Good.
Chris, how are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Great. I have 2 points here, real quick, Beth. First of all, what we're witnessing in today's country is the further diminishing roles that we have with women today, and how having to support these so-called athletic men or star men that you see on the national stage. It's just further proof. It's further diminishing how much more they lose their identity. It's just a natural thing in this role. They're too nurturing. They're too over-supportive, in my opinion, for these so-called males. I don't call them men. They're males.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is not one woman. This is a lot of people enabling people like him his whole life.
Of the group we don't see. We know they're out there. We just don't see them on the national stage.
Yeah.
Two, it's more of I'm going to chime in from a more of a darker perspective, if I may.
Sure.
It further represents, again, what the problem is we have in this country. Another male, black male, young man with money, doesn't know how to behave.
Yep, all right. We'll talk to Lisa Bloom, attorney extraordinaire, next on the Stephanie Miller Show. Pierce. Charlie Pierce, political columnist for Esquire.com.
Why is everybody always laughing with me?
Good morning, Charlie Pierce.
How was everybody's big gay holiday?
It was fabulous.
I was here.
Did you go? What?
Pardon me. I was, according to my Twitter followers, I melted Yosemite with my hotness. That's what I did.
Oh, my goodness, really? Does super volcano erupt, if you know what I mean? And I think you do.
Yes, I do.
The super volcano's in Yellowstone, not Yosemite.
Yeah, I melted the roads in Yellowstone.
See, that was a good joke, and Chris just stepped all over it.
I'm sorry. Well, you know.
You ham-handed bastard.
I'm a journalist. I go for the truth.
So, Charlie, what a day to have you on, as you know, Charlie Pierce, sports writer extraordinaire, in addition to political writer extraordinaire. So, is Ray Rice...
Sports editor of the Stephanie Miller Show, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Because nobody else around here knows about sports.
It's a lonely job. Someone has to do it.
He calls every time to correct me when I get the French connection wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like being the sane one in the Gomer family.
Someone has to do it.
But you pointed out, obviously, we've been talking about the Fox News jokes about the Ray Rice. I just love your first line. You said, it's well established by empirical research and by the rigorous application of the scientific method that Fox and Friends is the dumbest institution of human communication since Homo sapiens stopped communicating with clubs. I mean, and yet predictable, right? They're making a joke about, the messages take the stairs. Oy vey. Yeah. And then on top of it, Andrea Tantaros, I don't know if you heard that, she, of course, blamed the president.
Barack Obama's fault.
Yes, of course it is. Yeah, just when you think it's a joke, it's not.
See, the problem that you have with Fox News is there's only one way up the ladder, and that's to become so crazy that upper echelons notice you.
Right.
So they've got all this, this entire JV team on like Fox Business and stuff who are trying to work their way up to the big time.
Yeah.
There's no way to do it except the crazy train.
Yeah. Yeah. Charlie, obviously I've been on vacation. This just broke yesterday, the Ravens firing him. But, I mean, it just mishandled from the get-go, right, by the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, the National Football League is either incredibly mendacious or they're run by children because obviously they knew this was out there. They're claiming they didn't see the deal. That's nonsense, okay, because they told everybody they had. And they were using the fact of the second video to try and get Ray Rice off the hook, saying they had this other video that mitigated whatever it was he did, which it clearly, obviously didn't. I agree with Olbermann. Roger Goodell's got to go. I mean, he does. I mean, there's nothing he can do to come back from this, but he won't. So because, the people who pay his salary are happy with him.
Yeah.
I was reading.
It's terrible, but that's the way it is.
Well, and I was reading, you're correct, Peter King of Sports Illustrated, I guess in July, reported that officials from the NFL, that the Ravens had seen the more graphic video. Like, that didn't smell right from the start either, did it?
Well, it was odd that, if they had a video that would, who knows? How do you possibly mitigate a video of a guy dragging his unconscious fiance out of an elevator by the hair?
Right.
But, if they had a video that would mitigate that, they would have released it because it would have made their case better. Because they took an incredible amount of heat for suspending him for only 2 games.
Right. Right. And then, like you say, Charlie, that you actually need to see the video of him actually punching her, and this kind of public outcry to then do the right thing is.
Yeah, that's not being good citizens in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, so what, and I don't know if you saw, we were just talking, that Janae Rice, of course, released a statement today on I guess, her Instagram account, blaming the media for this and saying that.
Oh, God. Someone's in Stockholm, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pass judgment on the woman. She has to cope with this the best she could, but I think she needs some outside intervention there.
Yeah.
It's not the media's fault that she got punched in the head,
Yeah. Well, and I think clearly she's referring to him losing his livelihood, and it's.
Yeah, well, that's too bad.
Yeah, so I said earlier, it's not a private matter, Charlie. It's a crime, that happened to be caught on tape.
Well, it is a crime, but there's nothing you can do unless there's a complaining witness, and there apparently isn't going to be a complaining witness.
She hasn't pressed charges, so there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, let's hope that shines a light on that problem.
Oh yeah, it's forced the NFL to change its policy on let's make beating up your wife at least as serious an offense as smoking a doobie.
I was watching ABC News this morning, and they said more people have been suspended for longer periods of time for smoking pot than for beating up their wives.
And for performance enhancing drugs, right, Charlie?
Well, yeah, but that's a different issue. We get into a different time. But if I played NFL football and I got my body beat up, and I lived in a state where marijuana was legal, you wouldn't be able to see in my windows from the smoke. I'd be that guy in the old Dragnet episode that Jack Webb reads the riot act to.
We're like, are they filming a Cheech and Chong?
What?
Charlie, I did not get a chance to watch the new Meet the Press. What did you think?
I hate to say it, I hate to quote myself, but same circle, different jerks, basically.
Yeah.
That's usually my job, quoting you to you. But
anybody? Yeah, it's a little bit livelier, and Chuck Todd's got a little bit more energy than David Gregory did there towards the end when he knew that the hangman was outside his door. But these shows are on a fast track to obsolescence.
Right.
They're all, I can't conceive of that they have any audience beyond Southern Maryland and Northern Virginia. Who watches these things anymore?
Yeah.
If you're really politically attuned and you happen to have a point of view, you either watch Fox or you watch the 2 MSNBC shows.
Right.
Does the world really need another venue where we have to listen to Andrea Mitchell?
Joe
Scarborough has 3 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
To let us know what he thinks about to be wrong on several dozen important national issues.
Well, that's exactly what it's become a joke. It's where people go to be wrong. It's where John McCain and Lindsey Graham, as you say, the senators from the green room, hang out. And
upset of the decade, by the way. John McCain was not on this weekend.
Wow. Maybe there is there's a hole in the wormhole in the universe, but
he was confused and going between houses. No.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, did you see the picture of him sitting with the remember what he thought were the moderate?
Oh yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
Right. I think that the man circled to the left, believed to be the person who beheaded journalist Foley. That was one. And there's John McCain sitting right there. That was one of the moderates that he said we should arm, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I mentioned this, and this is my shameless plug thing. I was out in Milwaukee for Grantland this weekend, and I dropped by the journalism school at Marquette, and of course, James Foley was a graduate, as am I.
Right.
And the school is, and hopefully I'm going to be involved in putting this together. Is going to try to raise a memorial to him, a scholarship or something on campus.
Wow.
when we do that, can we count on the Stephanie Miller Facebook page?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. And Twitter feed.
I will keep and Twitter feed and everything else that I don't do.
Yes.
But, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, I wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure I'm supposed to talk about this week. But
Too late now.
I wanted to put it out there that we're going to try to do something for him.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Somebody worthy of memorializing, I think.
Listen, you can take a journalism class every week by reading Charlie Pierce on Esquire.com. But anyway, go ahead, Charlie.
No, you can't. You'll flunk. If you go back in the if you go back to journalism schools and do what I do, you will not be there long.
Yeah, that's more blogging. They don't teach a whole lot of blogging in journalism school.
Anyway, sir.
They actually have courses in it now.
Do they?
I'll tell you what was really sad, though. I walked around campus, and because Wisconsin is now an open carry state, on the door of every classroom building it says no firearms allowed.
Oh, well, I went to school in Arizona. It was like that in the 80s when I went.
Well, yeah, because everybody in Arizona's got a gun.
Exactly.
Charlie, what was your...
Including the guys tracking down the bat researchers.
Yeah, did you hear about that?
What? No.
That was great. Oh, see, this is what happens when you go on vacation. Some militia dudes down protecting the border, and they almost opened up on a bunch of researchers studying the bat population.
Oh, yeah.
And the local sheriff says, we don't really need these people down here. Well, you're the sheriff, damn it. Throw them out.
My God. Charlie, you were making a point, I think, about, was it McCain? Syria? Yeah. ISIS? Where? Go ahead.
No, it's just that this is the whole. We should have done something sooner, and then ISIS wouldn't have, have gained the strength it did. Well, as I pointed out in relation to what Ted Cruz says, if every member of ISIS would stand in one place for a really long time, then we could kill them. Otherwise, we didn't know who we were going to be arming if we armed the quote-unquote Syrian rebels a year ago.
Right. Yes, and there's the picture right there. I will hold it up to the camera. Helpfully, there's the guy that beheaded Foley. John McCain.
Hi, Mom. She said.
Ouch. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess, but anyway, it goes to your point about the Sunday shows, that it's just, they have John McCain on, and I mean, it is hilarious. Somebody did a roundup of, he's been wrong about virtually everything in every foreign policy issue in recent memory.
I think the Sunday shows are starting to get defensive about having John McCain, because people are pointing it out, and even Candy Crowley had to say, well, we have him on because he gives great soundbites.
That are wrong.
That's terrific, but he's been wrong. But the thing is, he's been wrong about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to the negotiations over the financial bailout when the entire world was falling apart in 2008.
Right.
He showed up and remember he suspended his campaign and flew back to Washington. He almost screwed the whole thing up.
Yeah.
He went in the middle of the negotiations over the original bailout bill and essentially tore up the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know. He just doesn't understand stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I have never seen a guy shred his legacy as fast as this guy did.
Yeah,
I mean, really, because nobody had better press in the Beltway than him. Certainly in 2000.
Yeah, no, exactly. The mainstream media was in love with him.
Yeah.
But anyway, Charlie, I'm in love with you, as you know.
Oh, dear, don't say that.
All right.
Don't say that, because people all over America will be heartbroken.
Yeah, right. All right. Love you, Charlie. See you next week.
Talk to you next week.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Love you. By the way, loved our friend Paul Begala's tweet. Shocked that Barack Obama insists on having a clear strategy before bombing ISIS in Syria. Why can't he be like W and just invade without a plan? Thank you, Paul Begala. Thank you. All right. 46 minutes after the hour. Attorney Lisa Bloom next on the Stephanie Miller Show. Minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. So I normally call you and yell, "Get me Lisa Bloom," but you claim that I drunk texted you?
You drunk texted both Travis and me after we'd gone to bed last night and said, "Get me Lisa Bloom, all right."
A text does not have an accent like that. You are making that part up.
It looked like that.
All right. Legal analyst for Avvo.com. Here she is, Lisa Bloom.
Oh, Stephanie, will you marry me and have my baby?
Yes.
Perfect.
So yes, it is hilarious. They were not sure if I wanted them to invite you over for Rice, because I just said Lisa Bloom Rice, but obviously,
wow.
Yeah, right. So no, that was not it. I wanted to have you on to talk about Ray Rice because you were in my TV saying smart things about it as usual.
Thank you.
Yes. So, we've obviously been talking about this all morning, but you made some great points last night. I mean, where do you even start, right, with the NFL's handling of this, with this press conference with Ray Rice? Ann is what, I don't know if you saw, she put out a statement on Instagram today blaming the media. for him losing his job. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I did. Well, first, let's start with her statement. I think it's terribly sad. Yesterday on Twitter, there was a very powerful hashtag why I stayed, and a lot of domestic violence survivors were talking about why they stayed in abusive relationships. I think today we need hashtag why I defended my batterer, because that's clearly what Janae Rice is doing. She's in shock. She says this is a horrible nightmare. She talks about the wrongs that they both did. And look, I'm sure she and her husband feel like it's them against the world right now. And, where does she have to turn? What kind of counseling has she had? So, my heart goes out to her. I think that's just a terribly heartbreaking statement, but it doesn't change the fact that he committed a crime by punching her unconscious in an elevator. That's a crime not just against her, but a crime against the people. That's how our criminal law works. If you assault someone, it's the people of the state of New Jersey, in this case, who come after you, because we know it could happen again, and it could happen to someone else. It could happen to his daughter. So, that's
Lisa,
the problem.
Talk to us about the law, though, for a minute, because what you just brought up, and Chris, was talking about this earlier. What is wrong with the law where if the woman declines to press charges, this is what happened in this case, right? When someone will not press charges, obviously the guy most of the time gets away with it, right?
Most of the time they do, although, we have made a lot of changes in the law in many, many states. In California, where I practice law, for example, even if the victim recants, even if the victim says, I don't want to press charges, which is very common, prosecutors still can go forward if they have other independent evidence. Here we have a video. I mean, I don't know what more you need. And we have him dragging her out of the elevator and making statements to security guards and other witnesses in the hotel immediately afterwards. That's all admissible. So I think they would have enough. And as far as I know, every law enforcement agency now has policies and procedures in place to deal with this very common situation of the victim not wanting to go forward. And many times they still do go forward, but they don't when we're talking about an athlete, a celebrity, somebody who's wealthy, somebody who's powerful. So I think the local prosecutors really have some explaining to do here as to why they just gave him a slap on the wrist.
Well, right, and because then the NFL commissioner is saying, oh, well, we were taking our cue from the police because,
Yeah,
right?
Everybody's passing the buck, right? I thought somebody, remember some other dude did it, that's offense. I think they're hoping some other dude was going to take care of it. I think the NFL needs to explain why they didn't have enough before to fire him. They already knew that he had punched her unconscious in the elevator. They already had the video of him dragging her out of the elevator. They already had his admission that he did it. What changed yesterday? A video of what happened inside. The NFL was publicly shamed yesterday.
Right.
But they didn't get any new facts. They just got publicly shamed. They have to account for what they did. Of course, Ray Rice is the primary perpetrator here. He's got to account for what he did. There's lots of problems all around, really.
And as we all know, Lisa, how often this happens, the fact that really you have to have it on videotape for anybody to do the right thing, right?
And even then, this videotape has existed since February.
Right.
So and there's some confusion about whether the NFL had it when they made their decision. They sort of whispered to various friendly reporters at the time, oh, yeah, we've seen a video, and it shows that she attacked him. Well, and these reporters reported that at the time. Well, that's obviously completely untrue now that we've seen the video. Now the NFL says they didn't review it. So does the NFL need TMZ to do an investigation for them? I mean, NFL is an extremely wealthy and powerful organization. It didn't occur to them that there would be a video in an elevator in an Atlantic City hotel that they might want to look at that would show the incident to them.
Yeah.
I mean, did they really just close their eyes to all of this because they wanted to give him a pass? I think that's what it looks like, right?
And at least it's hard as a woman to even talk about what's more horrifying, a more horrifying part of the video, right? I mean, let's start with how casually he does it, which would kind of tend to make you think this is clearly not the first time he's done it. But the fact that he doesn't even check immediately if A, she's dead, right?
Right.
I mean, B, just the whole hauling her out of there like a sack of potatoes, not pulling her dress down, that he's talking to the other guys there before anybody. I mean, as someone pointed out, when you see the longer video, it takes a woman to finally come in and lift her head up to see if she's okay.
Yeah.
Right. And no, it's absolutely horrifying. And you do have to wonder if this is the first time because he's so casual. He doesn't seem at all agitated about the fact that she's unconscious, as you say.
Right.
She could be dead. He doesn't listen for a heartbeat, doesn't take a pulse. He doesn't get down and hug her and say, oh, my God, honey, are you okay? I'm so sorry. I mean, nothing. He just drives her out. He kind of leaves her feet sticking in the elevator door, so if it closed, it would be banging her. It's just really disturbing.
So, Lisa, again, you always hate to talk about something as being a good thing, but boy, this certainly is shining a light on this issue in a way. And, your mom, Gloria Allred, I've always, has always been one of my heroes, but because she's all been about empowering women her whole life, and I think that is part of this, isn't it? It's empowering women and little girls to have the self-esteem to not put up with this, right?
Well, that's what it's really all about. And I talked about that hashtag Why I Stayed yesterday. I read a lot of those. They're so heartbreaking on Twitter from, voices of domestic violence survivors, and they would say, I stayed because I thought violence was love, because that's all I ever knew, because I had nowhere to go, because I wanted to keep my family intact for my children, because he threatened if I left it would be a million times worse. I mean, this is the reality of women who are stuck in domestic violence situations. And, a lot of us are really concerned for Janae Rice now.
Yeah.
Now
Me
that
too.
they're at this low point with him being fired. Many batterers lash out after they lose their job.
Wow. So sorry, Lisa. Hard break. I could talk to you all morning. We'll talk to you again soon.
Me too. Take
all
care.
right.
Thank
There
you.
she goes, Lisa Bloom. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Back from vacation, everything's the same. Jim is late.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
No, of course not.
I was saying it was the same craptastic news while I was gone. Beloved comedian dies.
Yeah.
Another beheading. Ebola.
Yeah, a fourth person,
Yes.
a fourth American infected with Ebola is now
it's a
headed to
Flintstones
Atlanta.
background of the same craptastic news over and over again. Hello,
But
happy
at least-
September, everybody.
But at least John McCain wasn't on any of the Sunday shows this weekend.
Well, there's a glimmer of hope in the world.
Okay.
Okay, so we await Jim Ward, as we do. All right. It's our 10-year anniversary. 2 days ago.
It's my 10-year anniversary today.
That's right, because you were 2 days late.
That's right.
All right, it's our 10-year anniversary of the Stephanie Miller Show. Maximum Mookage to celebrate in sometime.
I wasn't here for the debut of Anchorage. That was our first affiliate that we had on the very first day.
Oh, that's right. And then we had Columbus, and the whole show became Good Morning Columbus. Because everybody called with local events.
Columbus.
Right.
Yes.
All right. 1-800-STEPH12, the phone number.
And we got the fun facts music, this music.
Oh, that was Columbus Community Calendar.
That was the Columbus Community Calendar music.
There's an event at the Piggly Wiggly later.
Yeah.
Did you announce it on your program? All right. Speaking of, suddenly I'm 10 years older.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Terry,
35 when this show started.
Terry was talking my last, that I got a pity carding at the airport in Washington.
Bless your heart.
Everybody's got it. All of my dreams must die eventually. Steph, I really hate to do this, but I have to bust your bubble on the pity carding that you got at the airport bar in Washington, D.C. All of the airport concessions that are owned by Marriott are required by law to card everybody, including my 72-year-old husband. They lost a reverse age discrimination suit in 2002, and they have to card everybody since that. Sorry, hon, but I love. Oh, Terry's the official crocheter of the Stephanie Miller Show.
Oh, yeah.
She has already crocheted me an old lady shawl, which is very nice. Thank you, Terry.
And I have a really nice Afghan from her.
Brenda in Everett, Washington, by the way, shares my crotchety old lady concern with no print buttons being available on news stories on the interwebs.
Well, nobody prints anything anymore.
I do.
And you're killing trees.
Well, I can't read it on the interwebs. I have too much stuff I need.
Killing an entire Canadian forest with
Can
that.
I have some nostalgia music? Brenda is like me, old. Staff, just heard you and Chris talking about how websites are getting rid of their print buttons. Arg. I don't read articles on the computer. I like to take my time and read a paper copy later. Thank you. Brenda, me too.
There's something called Instapaper where you can save it to read later. It takes out all of the pictures and everything. It just leaves the words for you. You can read it on your little iPad right there later on.
Stephanie, I'm older than you. My aged eyes can't take being on the computer a minute longer than I have to at work. If the print button disappears, it would be a catastrophe. I agree, Brenda, with all the horrific news, the print button disappearing.
Even the New York Times got rid of their print button. Have you noticed that? Yes.
Okay.
You old people and your print buttons.
All right. Oh, we got a hate letter, too, by the way.
Oh,
Let's see. Okay. Oh, you know what's a hate letter? You know why?
Why? It's all caps?
No, because there is no punctuation of any kind. Take a look at that.
What is it with people that hate you and their lack of punctuation or capitalization?
You're right. There is not one piece of punctuation in this entire screed. This is from Nick.
All right.
When will... No salutation or anything. When will the liberal idiots realize, spelled R-E-A-L-A-I-Z-E,
product of homeschooling.
Oh, send those letters to Chris at StephanieMiller.com. When will the liberal idiots realize that their boy, Obama, is the worst piece of scum that has ever walked into the white?
Into the white?
I apologize. There's the only punctuation in the whole thing. There's a comma there.
Oh.
But no space. Into the white. This idiot should be impeached and thrown into jail for what he has done to this country, and the liberal idiots should be sent to the ISIS state, being that they prefer Islamic terrorists than they do to a good people, the Israelis.
Israelis?
Maybe it's members of Bill O'Reilly's family that live in Israel. I'm not sure.
All right.
Do those animals that are cutting off the heads of Americans keep killing Americans for the liberal idiots to realize Obama is incompetent and a pathological liar to run this country? Maybe this country needs Putin. He is sure a lot better than Obama could ever be. All right, Nick, thanks for your...
So he wants communists to run America.
Thanks for your non-punctuated thoughts on all of that.
Wonderful.
Okay, speaking of ISIS and the like, Julie writes, Obama's doing nothing. OMG. Obama doesn't have a strategy to deal with ISIS. Plus, oh my God, he's letting Putin have Ukraine. OMFG, he's doing nothing. So one might think if you watched all the ignorant swill flowing copiously from both the left and the right on TV and the interwebs while you were on vacation, and yet all this magically happened, despite Obama doing nothing. Yeah, these were just the headlines when I was gone, Chris.
Oh.
U.S. military strategy against ISIS, August 21st. Obama and Cameron call on NATO to confront ISIS. NATO plans a special force to reassure Eastern Europe and deter Russia. NATO prepares new sanctions over Russian action in the Ukraine. Yes, he has already, somehow, even though he's playing golf, he has amassed a NATO coalition to deal with ISIS.
He did say to Chuck Todd on the very first episode of Chuck Todd's Meet the Press that he said the optics of playing golf immediately after that probably weren't the best.
Right, because he's the first president ever to have played golf or to have worn a tan suit. Except that he wasn't. Why, look who's here. It's Jim Ward.
Just barely. Wow. I might as well be driving in from Mexico. I'm trying to get here from the valley.
Yes.
This time in the morning.
Oh,
it's impossible.
By the way, what did I keep? Oh, hang on, I kept this.
Uh-oh.
Hang on. Speaking of the valley. Hang on.
Oh, God.
I wasn't playing golf in a taupe suit after the ISIS crisis. ISIS crisis. Hey, there's a logo.
Hunt for potentially lethal albino cobra.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Yes.
Right? In the valley. Albino cobras most likely to reappear at night.
Oh, so you're a cobra racist.
I think they ended up catching it.
Yes.
And
Did they?
Yeah, they had thought that its venom glands were taken out. No, it still had its venom glands.
It had its venom glands.
It was in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
They were searching for the albino cobra, who looks terrifying.
They turned it into a cowboy boot. So.
Did they really?
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, goodness, a happy ending for everybody.
Thousand Oaks is in Ventura County. So
it's
quite the bad.
That's way out of that.
Wow. Okay.
Practically in Camarillo.
Well, it is practically in Camarillo. All right.
All right. Oh, by the way, Steve Marmel, who I love, a comedian, I love his Twitter stuff. He tweeted, here are all the countries Senator John McCain wants to send your kids to die. Yours, not his. Mother Jones, places Grampy wants America to bomb. Did you see this piece?
Yeah.
Battlefield Earth.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Map. All countries that John McCain has wanted to attack. Syria, Iraq, Russia, North Korea, 9 other nations the Arizona Senator has been able to either bomb, invade, or destabilize.
We'd be in 9 wars right now if John McCain were president.
Right, and it gives you how many angry McCains each country gets. And there's little angry McCain heads.
Oh.
Syria gets 5 angry McCains.
Yep.
And then it goes through every single country, which pretty much are all of them. There's a little graph where in the world is John McCain's rage.
Middle East. Yeah.
Right. Number of times McCain has called for military intervention in each world region. Helpful graph as to how many countries. Grampy wants to bomb. Oh, and look, oh, by the way, Jim, have you seen this picture?
Iran, everybody else.
Remember how when he was so right about the which Syrian rebels were moderate and how which ones?
Oops.
That's the guy apparently that beheaded Foley.
Great.
There's Grampy. There's that guy.
I like that guy. I like the cut of his jib. I'm not sure what a jib is, but I like his.
Yeah. Please, Senator, what else has the president done wrong, do you think, on this whole thing? Something wrong with his judgment? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Sarah Palin should have been the first clue.
You betcha.
We should play that again for Jim.
Oh, by the way, happy 10-year anniversary, Jim. And
10-year anniversary was on Sunday.
Wow.
The show's 10-year anniversary, and we were saying when you started as a screener, because I had to sneak you in because we couldn't afford a co-host, and I was saying magically, we still can't.
Yay!
Everything.
How are you? That was Dick and Dayton.
Oh, that was Dick and Dayton that used to call every day.
Yeah, he was
right.
An interesting fellow.
Yes, he was. You had a lot of long, soulful conversations with him.
How are you?
Tim in Dallas has put together a 90-second retrospective of the 10-year anniversary of the Stephanie Miller Show. Senator Kerry, this couldn't possibly be you, could it?
Let me check.
Somebody claiming to be Melissa Etheridge is on the line.
It's really Melissa Etheridge. Finally got enough nerve up to call you.
You got the nerve up to call me? Hi, this Stockholm.
One moment, please.
I'm not sure this was a wise idea. Why didn't anyone tell me about the sweat stains yesterday?
Oh, God.
Who is it, Chris?
Representative Jim Moran of Virginia.
Sean Hannity called you a bad name.
Sean Hannity is a complete asshole.
Whoa! He got that on tape.
Well, howdy do.
The Chicago Tribune is confirming that it's Palin.
Wow.
She's 44 and under investigation. He has just shot himself in the foot.
This is a historically bad.
Oh, it's a tragically bad choice.
Playing all the hits.
Yeah. How do you like the new theme song, everybody? I was the first mama for Obama. Don't ever doubt me again. The show is going by Coastal. Mama will be doing the show from New York. As you know, New York has rejected me like a bad kidney. I've reached my personal tipping point to say I'm a gay woman.
What the?
There, that wasn't so hard, was it? Oops, I totally didn't mean to do that. Did you catch that?
What is wrong with you?
I'm sleepy.
Wait.
We just had an earthquake. Me hanging on by my fingertips, barely surviving in my little basement studio. Thank you, Tim in Dallas. Oh.
Nice reverb there.
Yeah, that was great.
That's why it's truly a field.
There it is again.
Oh, you know what comes up right after that on the interwebs? Me interviewing Lucy Lawless while I'm dressed as Xena.
With May Lee.
That's back when I was straight.
Yeah.
With quotation marks.
No, you were giving it away. Whether you knew it or not, you were giving it away left and right. Yeah.
It's weird.
Come on.
Okay, who knew? All right. Oh, guess who else would have done a better job than Obama? Mitt Romney. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There was a, had...
Well, I would have done this with my hands, which would have made it all better.
Right.
Please proceed, Governor.
Exactly. Oh, we talked about this earlier, Jim. Did you see this? New economic report published by Forbes. That's not a liberal publication, is it?
No.
Clearly shows President Obama is the best economic president in modern times.
Wow.
Not an opinion, it's fact based on all the typical economic indicators, including jobs, investments, growth, expansion, even the rate of inflation. In all of these areas, President Obama's record outperforms that of every other modern president, including Ronald Reagan. Oh, my goodness. The unemployment rate has decreased to 6.1%, the lowest it's been since 2007. The economy began gushing jobs under the failed leadership of then-President George W. Bush.
You're welcome, America.
Yeah, we got ourselves surplus. Means you're paying too much tax. I'm going to fix that. Now I'm going to run over some Scotsmen with my bicycle.
All right. So lots of folks want to talk about my beloved Tony in L.A. On the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Stephanie. Happy anniversary.
Thank you, honey bunny.
You've been around a long time, girl, because you're the only white woman that gives me hope. Oh, my God.
I am the only white woman that gives you hope? All right.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
We are screwed. But go ahead.
We're friends. Yeah, what I was going to say with the whole rights thing, first of all, he's an ass beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, obviously, the wife has better women syndrome or something.
Yeah.
Or she's a gold digger that I really can't wait to see now that he's going to be broke if she's going to stick around.
That's going to be
entirely possible.
Yeah.
You know, he's become an ATM. You know, a cash machine.
Yeah, and believe it or not, don't get me wrong, because women have been abused, but today, this day and age, there's a lot of help out there. and a lot of women need to go and get it. But the only thing I can think of is she obviously has to want the money. I can't. Why would you? Well, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll let that go. But what I was saying.
We'll just pretend you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. What I was saying before is we really need to look at perception and how things are done. Michael Vick got 2 years for dogs, and don't get me wrong, I know you love your dogs. I love animals too.
Yeah, but he's playing again. Yeah.
But perception. What I'm saying is the NFL weighs out everything about race, about money, about class, or whatever. First of all, his wife is black, and they're like, oh, well, a lot of people aren't going to get that mad because it is just a black woman. So let's wait this thing out and see how
Kane had buried the story about the second racist NBA owner, didn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. So they weigh all that stuff out and see what the blowback is going to be.
Yeah.
And obviously this guy isn't as good a player as Michael Vick, but with Michael Vick, they knew what kind of blowback they were going to get. So they were like, no, we got to let this go. Because, I mean, obviously, people, how is it, in our minds, that's more reprehensible than a man knocking a woman out. I mean, we really got to look at ourselves and think about some stuff.
That's right.
It's crazy.
That's right. I love you. Goodbye now.
Love you too.
Okay, thank you. Happy anniversary.
One thing that hasn't been mentioned is that, of course, I may not have seen the entire video, but she lunged at him first. I don't know what he did to justify that.
Who cares what she was saying?
I know, it doesn't justify him,
Yeah, it doesn't justify that. Yeah.
But, that...
It did totally bury the story about the NBA owner that said...
Hey, where are the white women at?
All right, 21 minutes after the hour. Right back, more Maximum Mookage. Jim Ward live in studio on the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 26 minutes after the hour. Jim Ward, voice deity Jim Ward live in studio. Maximum Mookage.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I just had a bite of Mama Bones chocolate chip cookie.
But Mama Bones cookies are good.
You've known for 10 years that the breaks are 4 minutes long, and you put that in your mouth
at
with
3:54.
Exactly. Exactly.
What did he say last week? He said, "Oh, do you really need a turn signal at that corner?" And I said, "And yet, every other guest gets here earlier on time, even without that light."
Yeah.
All right.
Where are they driving in from?
Well, you're right, driving in from Mexico, as you mentioned earlier. Who knew?
Actually, Santa Monica.
No.
Oh, Jackie comes from Santa Monica. Right.
Yes, and that's a ways away.
Right. All right. You were doing George.
Just take Santa Monica. What could possibly go wrong?
Bill Clinton revealed on Monday that the second President Bush picked his brain twice a year for 30 to 45 minutes in wide-ranging conversations. Bush would call Clinton just to talk. Oh, boy.
How you doing, big guy?
Hi, Dan. What you thinking? Last distant.
You know, it's probably smart of a president to maybe do that.
Well,
especially someone as dumb as Bush.
He obviously didn't listen. Bill Clinton actually said he asked my opinion about half the time he disagreed with it. Thanks for your advice. He would call just talk during his last 4 years in the White House, according to Bill Clinton. What you thinking, funny face?
More waste of time.
I'm just saying, I think Iraq's a bad idea. All right.
You go with that.
All right.
I hate to say I told you so.
Oh, by the way, we were in the midst of Beige Ghazi before I left, as you know.
Beige Ghazi?
Right, the president wore a beige suit, as you know.
Right, yes.
Which, now we've run out of time for this.
The audacity of taupe.
Right,
people were calling it.
Exactly.
Yes, we have run out of time.
Right, and it took about 4 seconds for the Internet to find every president wearing a tan suit. Reagan, Clinton, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush. So as it turns out, they all disrespected the presidency and didn't take it seriously.
I'm going to shut up on this conversation.
Why?
Because I didn't like the tan suit on, and I get pilloried for being a right-wing lunatic on Twitter.
Well, you're you're the Blackwell of the show. You're just fussy. You're just a fussy. You're a fussy pants.
I saw Mr. Blackwell at a restaurant. He was the worst dressed.
Oh, he was horribly dressed all the time.
All right. So Rocky Mountain Mike parody about that, and then Bob Seska as we continue on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Yeah.
34 minutes after the hour. Oh, speaking of Maylee's going to be here just in a little bit. Jim, you never get to see her.
Well, not on the show.
No, we're going on a whore hike.
Whore hike?
She's a whore and I'm a whore, and it's a whore hike when we both hike together.
Okay.
All right.
You're choosing the wrong park to go whoring in.
All right. Okay.
A-whoring we will go.
Jim Ward, voice deity extraordinaire, live in studio with us. Maximum Mookage. And look who else is here. Why? Speaking of dreamy, hunky men, why? Bob Seska joins us now.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special broadcast.
You're cute. I love you, Bob Seska.
Where you coming from?
Bob's calling us from Hawaii.
You Seska thing.
Go ahead, Honolulu.
Hello. Hello, Bob Seska.
Hello, Stephanie. I can't tell you what an honor it is to be here on the 10th anniversary of your third show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Such a stickler. All right.
It's kind of a dyslexic jingle, you Seska thing.
Yes.
Hey, look, the third show is an important one. The first show, you're still ironing out technical problems. Second show, you're still saying your old call letters. Third show is the show that really cooks.
Yeah, we were rocking.
Right.
We were rocking by, yeah.
That's when we had 2 affiliates.
Right. The first show was Good Morning Anchorage.
Yeah.
And then it was Good Morning Columbus.
Yeah. Exactly. Bob Seska, good piece on Rand Paul flip-flops again on ISIS. He said Senator Rand Paul's a national joke, and anyone who thinks he'd make a swell president needs to pay a little more attention to the, news. Yesterday we reported his latest and bottomless cup of flip-flops, in which he said on the record that he'd intervened militarily against the Islamic State, a.k.a. ISIS. Prior to being obviously hawkish, Paul condemned Hillary Clinton for being a hawk on the Middle East. Yeah, he obviously was trying to flank her on her left, right? And now he's already flip-flopped how many times?
That'd be 212.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many times. I mean, I can't even keep track of it anymore. I mean, there was a period of time last week where I was trying to chart all of the flip-flops and put them into sort of an NCAA tournament bracket, where he was fighting himself, and then, himself would move on to the next round. And I couldn't keep track of it anymore. I mean, honest to God, I don't even know what article you're talking about, because they've all sort of run together for me. He changed. I mean, really, he makes Mitt Romney look like the pillar of integrity. I mean, the guy cannot hold the same position for longer than maybe 5 minutes. It's like the weather in certain places. If you don't like what Rand Paul is saying, wait 5 minutes and he'll say something else.
Yeah, you said at this rate, by the weekend, Rand Paul will have taken every imaginable position on ISIS, including condemnations of his own prior positions, because he has a strategy. And no matter what the president says tomorrow, of course, that will be wrong, right?
Right. And this is nothing new for Rand Paul. I mean, the guy, regardless of what the issue is, he reverses course based on who he's talking to. And he'll just say and pander to whatever forum he happens to be in at the moment. If he's on Hannity, he goes hard right. If he's talking to someone else, he tries to outflank Hillary Clinton on her left. And it's all over the place. And I don't know how anybody could possibly stand with Rand when Rand Paul doesn't even know where he's
right.
Here's what the president said yesterday on Meet the Press about.
We are going to be able to not just blunt the momentum of ISIL. We are going to systematically degrade their capabilities. We're going to shrink the territory that they control. And ultimately, we're going to defeat them.
Rand Paul's positions are about as believable as his hair.
But, we were saying on cue, John McCain, of course, will say what's wrong with whatever the president says.
It's not the policy. It's not the policy.
Right. Then they'll say, why is he tipping his hand to ISIS, when before they will criticize him for not having a strategy or whatever. I mean, it really is. Where does he go tomorrow where they're not going to criticize him, right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, my theory has always been that he should just do what he thinks is best. I mean, they're going to criticize him no matter what anyway. You raised a really good point about McCain. I mean, and it was all over social media as well, just other people on the right saying the exact same thing, which is, tell us your strategy about ISIS. Why don't you have a strategy about ISIS? And when you tell us, make sure not to tell us, because we're giving it all away. It doesn't make any sense. And again, it sort of underscores the ongoing contradictions that we see on the right all the time. I mean, and actually, it's very similar. I mean, maybe Rand Paul is doing the right thing for his party. Maybe he's actually just mainstreaming that exact series of contradictions.
Well, I mean, I was saying I'm fine with them having John McCain back on TV as long as they show that picture I've been showing all morning of him sitting with the terrorist that reportedly beheaded Foley and saying this is the moderate that we should be arming in Syria. That was his judgment.
The picture where ISIS is actively spreading around. I mean, they're really.
Well, and what was the story when I was gone? They were, like, I guess, on Fox News saying, "Oh, the president, the head of ISIS, the president, he let him out." It's like, well, no, George Bush actually released that guy and released him to Iraq under the agreement that George Bush signed with Iraq, right?
Now, see, here you go, talking about actual history. Don't you know that nothing actually happened before January 20th, 2009? You're living in the past, Stephanie.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Live in the now. Blame Obama for everything.
I'm sorry. Just when we say it as a joke and then it happens, we played somebody on Fox News blaming the president for Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why won't he lead?
Well, at least it's not Susan Rice.
Yeah, she used the phrase, "Why won't he lead?"
Right. Where is the president on this?
Yeah.
Because we don't know whether the president is in fact against men hitting women or not until clearly he's leading from behind on that.
I wouldn't advise hitting Michelle.
He's out in support of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Here's the president again yesterday on Meet the Press.
I'll make a speech and describe what our game plans are going to be going forward. But this is not going to be an announcement about U.S. ground troops. This is not the equivalent of the Iraq War. What this is similar to the kinds of counterterrorism campaigns that we've been engaging in consistently over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
The difference, Eric, I was talking to Eric Bollard about earlier, Bob, is this really just is a different time. I had totally remember Nick Berg. We had forgotten about the journalists that were beheaded when Bush and Cheney were in office. Remember, I don't even remember it being a story because people didn't politicize it back then. It didn't blame George W. Bush the way they're, just patently doing all over right-wing world, right?
Yeah, no, that never happened, and it's a different time, and the same rules that apply to any previous president don't apply to this current president, whether he's right or wrong. And, you see that across the board. I mean, I wrote a thing today about the economy where Obama, hasn't really received the credit he deserves on the economy, even though he's got a record in many indicators that's better than Reagan's, for God's sake.
Right.
So,
from Forbes magazine. Right, from Forbes, which is not a liberal publication. And you didn't see that story anywhere, did you?
No, absolutely not. And you won't. And least of all, the White House. I mean, that's one of my chief criticisms of this White House is they're terrible at messaging. They just cannot get the word out about these things, whether it's educating the public about the Affordable Care Act or actually just ballyhooing their own successes. They just can't do it. There's something wrong in the communications department where I don't know who the weak link is.
Yeah, but I don't blame, Bob, just them. I think you look at the mainstream media. It's like, as Jim always says, if it bleeds, it leads. They only seem to cover bad news. I just was reading a story about how well the Affordable Care Act is the Republicans' worst nightmare. Everything that they had hoped,
Damn it, it's working.
Right.
Son of a girl.
Right. But I mean, and so now, of course, the president's being, criticized on immigration. And how do you get anything done in this political environment? I mean, how can you? The problem is, it seemed like right after the election, you remember, this was a foregone conclusion that for the political sake, both parties were going to do something, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, you can't entirely blame this on the White House and the Communications Department. There is a lot to be said about the current state of the media, where it's not only just cable news, it's not only just all of AM talk radio, it's it's social media and the internet, and there's just this ongoing 24-hour-a-day noise machine that we've never seen before.
Right.
And I don't think any administration would have been prepared for.
And by the way, I wish he would use executive action, but he's being sued for using executive action to do something Republicans asked him to do on the Affordable Care Act, right? Yeah.
Well, and that's something. I mean, I really wish someone would call serious attention to that in the mainstream media. That there's just this ongoing conga line of contradictions where, on one hand, we need him to do something now, and then as soon as he does something,
stop doing that.
Using his power. I mean, it's and we're going to sue him because of it. You know,
Right. No, I'm telling you, I will predict right now, the criticism before was his choice of words. Oh, he doesn't have a strategy on ISIS. After tomorrow's speech, they'll say, oh, well, look, he's tipping his hand to ISIS. Why is he telling what we're going to do?
Yeah, it's already happening. I mean, I was just watching social media yesterday, and, we're just looking at Twitter. That's all I saw from the right. Well, why is he tipping his hand? Why is he tipping his hand? 3 days ago, it was, where's the strategy? Why won't he tell us the strategy? I mean, I cannot believe the lack of self-awareness is astonishing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a group of people who are just so, and this is, I guess this is what the White House has been up against. I mean, this is, how do you fight this? This is what they've been up against for so long, where on one day contradicts the day before, which contradicts the day before. It's just, it's unbelievable. And, like I said, maybe Rand Paul is the proper candidate because he does all of those things.
Yes. He has every position on every issue. They've created the new Mitt Romney.
Exactly. Well, he's worse than Mitt Romney. I hate to say it. I mean, but it's going to be entertaining. If Mitt Romney actually runs next year, God help us all. It's going to be Rand Paul and Mitt Romney they're going to be outflanking each other in the course of maybe just 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, it's going to be like it'll be like Cirque du Soleil, the first debate. I can't wait.
Right, it'll look like hopscotch and like they'll actually just start playing leapfrog on the stage. They're just jumping over each other and doing acrobatics and contradicting each other and themselves.
It'll look gayer than the homoerotic tension between Romney and Rick Perry.
But at least Romney's hair will stay on his head when they do that.
All right. Love you, Bob Seska. See you next week.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. In the 10-year anniversary thing, we played a squeezy. So I saved this for him.
Yeah.
Washington State megachurch closes branches after founder is caught calling women penis homes. We'll talk about that guy with Jim next on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Different year.
Why will my iPhone not allow me to write Hormobile? I've told May to hurry up and get your Hormobile. She's late for our hike. And that's, if you wondered how her mom's thing is spelled, here it is. E-E-E-E-I-I-I-I-I. Hang on a second. G-G-H-H-H-H-G-G-G-G and U-U-U-U. Okay. That's her mom's sound of disgust. And that's how it's spelled. In Korean. All right. Okay. Jim.
Wherever I go, you go.
All right. Jim Ward, Maximum Mookage live in studio. We were just saying during the break, Jim was saying that things, it is just a different time now. It is, we have just never seen it like this politically.
People are taking for granted that the White House, the Republican Congress is just being so, it's beyond obstructionist.
They're back and planning on a new shutdown. So that's
fantastic.
So that's new again.
Right. Why don't you just bomb Pearl Harbor while you're at it?
And as you know, no president has ever disrespected the office by wearing a tan suit, except for every president ever, if you've checked the internet.
When it's summer.
Right.
I am wearing
It's very good, Osborne, I could understand the words.
And Rocky Mountain Mike played all of the instruments.
Wow.
He is a talented man.
Yes, he is.
Oh, you can see his pictures of Yosemite that I'm going to take as my own, except that he put his name across them. But they're on
your Facebook page.
Right.
Stephanie Miller Show.
Big shot of
And they're infinitely better than any pictures you're going to produce for me.
I haven't gone through my iPhone yet.
Lots of fingers of your ass and your thumb and.
I did get my finger in a lot.
Yeah,
it's like,
great.
It's half dome and my thumb.
Half thumb.
Exactly. All right, it is our 10-year anniversary of the Stephanie Miller Show. Wow. Whitney, a love letter. Holy 10 years. Mama and Mookie's. My best friend Robert and I have been with you from the beginning, back when little Audrey sang Lying Sack of Crap.
Aww.
When George Bush was a dump truck.
Aww.
And babies were in bars. You've gotten us through college, medical school, and law school, and the beginnings of careers in psychiatry and civil rights law.
Wow.
Without you, I don't know how we would have made it through all these years. I'm so glad that you've been succeeding while I've been failing. Thank you. Thanks for rubbing it in. Without you, I don't know how we would have made it through all these years living in two of the reddest states in the nation. I can honestly say I've listened to your show, you almost every show, at least until Stitcher realized I hadn't paid my subscription in several years and locked me out.
So she was stealing the show?
Now I listen on iHeartRadio. But enough about you.
Get her lawyer friend on that.
But enough about you. Did you notice how successful we are? A doctor and a lawyer. Wow. Oh, well, good. Good for you. Good for you. I'm so happy. Oh, love letter number 2. Norma donated to us. You know, there's a donate button on StephanieMiller.com.
Yes. Just go to the support the show menu at StephanieMiller.com and click on the donate
Particularly if
button.
you'd like to see Jim Ward back full time, which I... We were saying back to magically full circle when we couldn't afford Jim Ward in the beginning of the show and he had to be a screener. Steph, Chris, Jim, T-Bone, the rest of you, wanted to let you know you guys are the most important thing in my life right now. Scary, huh?
Wow.
It's a little bit scary.
A little bit.
I've been sliding deeper and deeper into depression since Robin Williams died. Me too. And then Joan Rivers. The shows you guys did that week really helped me out. There's been so much bad news and so much horrific things going on in the world. I frankly see no reason to get out of bed some days. Yeah, me too. And it's early when we get up.
And you work in your house. So if you don't get out of bed, then...
Jim, it is like a Flintstones background of craptastic news, isn't it? This summer, beloved comedian dies, beheading, Ebola.
The tan suit.
Right? Beige Ghazi.
The audacity of taupe.
Right, exactly. Thank God Chris did stay while you guys were on vacation. Yes, you did, Cinderella.
I did.
And put out some great best ofs. He even managed to laugh and make me feel a little better. All of you at the SM show so vitally important, not only to our democracy. Yes, that's true.
Computer says yes.
Yes, democracy will fall if we do. Blah, blah, blah. Truth is, it's a spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. It's your ability to find something to laugh about it. We have to laugh or you cry all day. It makes the terrors of the world look better. Thank you. I found all over the website, found the right place to donate.
Awesome.
Isn't much, but I pray it helps. It all helps. Every little bit helps. Norma in Arizona, yes, I'm the one that Steph and John set my fiancé straight so he would marry me. He was afraid my belief in marriage equality would make his new best friend Jesus mad. All is great on the marriage front. We're about to celebrate our 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations,
we got
Norma.
her a husband. That's worth at least a little donate button something. All right, let's get to the penis pastor.
Sorry, what?
Could you take your organ out, please?
My organ out or my porn music out?
Washington megachurch Mars Hill. They announced they're closing several branches. Dismissed the pastor after he recently called for the resignation of founder Mark Driscoll, who had created some controversy. He wrote this, Jim. Well, first of all, he said the U.S. is a pussified nation.
Okay.
Secondly,
that's exactly what Jesus would have said.
Right. He said, ultimately, God created you, and it is his penis.
What?
You are simply borrowing it for a while. Knowing that his penis would need a home, God created a woman to be your wife, and when you marry her and look down, you will notice your wife is shaped differently than you and makes a very nice home. Therefore, if you were... I am not fulfilling my purpose.
No, you're not.
Therefore, if you are single, you must remember that your penis is homeless and needs a home. But though you may believe your hand is shaped like a home, it is not. And if you look at a man, it is quite obvious that a homeless man does not need another man without a home.
What? Huh?
Oh,
that's when he spiraled off into...
That's not the right home for your penis, another man. A woman is the proper penis home.
Is it a mobile penis home?
It's one of those Cruise Americas? Is it one of them?
And so that's what the V in RV is for.
Hey! Jim Ward at the buzzer. All right, love you, Jim Ward. We'll see you tomorrow on the Stephanie Miller Show.